Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I'm going to be just reading my heart out. Welcome to the June 2020 home edition version of the Poetic License Open Mic. I am your loving and caring and giving host, Janet, and because it's June, I'm going to tell you that all legends are born in June. I don't know. This is what the church says, and it's June, so I'm sharing it with you guys. I hope all is going well with everyone and staying safe while remaining quarantined and also remaining creatively inclined. So I'm trying to do my part and share with you, and I was going to read some poems from this huge volume that was the end of 2020 that was released from the issues from cc&d magazine. This is an expanded issue collection book that is called Among the Debris. Among the Debris. And I believe that one person who would buy issues all the time got this one and they said, this has got to be the best volume ever that you've. So I hope that everyone else likes it as much as this one guy did. I thought I would share, because this is an interesting expanded volume, and not only does it have things from issues, but also has things from bonus retro issues, because cc&d also released some past issues as well, because we always leave that option available for people. If there were pre-2010 issues that we'd like to have published, we will re-release them for you, which we had a lot of fun doing last year. And so you see me playing with my glasses, my glue glasses to match my blue poet hat, but I do that because another poet that is a transplant like me to Austin, Tom, would run open mics and he would leave all of these glasses sitting around, and so I got all these glasses sitting around and thought I could be putting them on for you guys, and how does this pair look? And because I would grab his glasses and say, how does this look? What do you think of these? And these are the least frame oriented. So why don't I try these for you guys? I hope you guys like them. Oh. In homage to Tom with all of his glasses, which I'm looking at you above them because it's not as easy to read from them, to look at you and see and focus, but we'll do what I can. This, I'm going to share with you a couple of short poems and then ones from a retro issue. I hope you enjoy them. This first one I'm going to share with you is called Opens the Way, and it's an Instagram thing, and I'm going to walk away and give you a prop that is used and talked about in this poem. So if you can hold still for me, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, let's see if I can walk around and do this way. And if I step around this way and you're like, why did she come from that direction and now she came back here? I had to get a prop that I actually talk about in this poem, so I had to pull it because I've got this finial here that's saved in my library that's talked about in this poem, and it is called Opens the Way. If I've got a short poem, I might have room that if it had an Instagram image with it, I would include that as well. So we'll share that for you guys here. Instagram image you can see inside the book. It's probably out of focus. I have no idea. Hi. I'm showing different cameras so I can share it with you in a live feed and as a YouTube video later. But this poem is called Opens the Way. I walked down the street of my village once, and I stopped when I saw a doorknob in the dirt. I couldn't help but pick it up and keep it. There was no lock, there was just this black doorknob and base. It was so rusted that this doorknob wouldn't even turn, almost like it was a finial and not a doorknob. I don't know why I decided to pick up this thing, other than with the hope that wherever I go, one day this doorknob may begin to turn and open the way for me, from deep in the depths of oceans to up mountains to up through the sky, until it opens the way to where I could only dream to be. I've got a finial to display to relate to a poem. Yeah, keep this thing in my library, and I thought I'd share it with you guys. That was a short piece called Opens the Way, and I will also share a poem called Other People's Worlds, that is also in this early section of this book. After spending a lifetime looking through a camera lens, photographing other people's lives, I look at the sum of what I've done. See photos under glass, framed on walls, scenes captured with a vivid contrast and events caught in vivid, vibrant colors. And then I look at the people, and most are just grouping and grinning at their instamatic moments, but some are looking away, and it makes me wonder. I've spent a lifetime glimpsing into other people's worlds. When I catch them looking away, I wonder, what are they thinking? What worlds am I missing by putting this camera in front of my face, pointing, clicking, just so I could stare and wonder? I would like to give a wave out to someone who never makes it to the Austin open mics because they're in Leeds, I believe. They're on the other side of the planet. Hi, Aj. It's great to see you, and thank you for coming by. I am doing live video feeds of different sections from books throughout this Poetic License open mic, which technically runs from 3:30 to 5:30 at Recycled Readers Books, but because they're affiliated with the Austin Public Libraries, they're not open yet, so I thought I'd sit in my own library and share with you. Everybody is welcome to go to that events page and post anything they like. All of my live feeds will be posted up there after I'm done reading everything for you guys, but I thought I would read a bunch of poems from a section in this collection book, Among the Debris. Huge volume from 2020 from cc&d magazine. And I'm just going to go through this one Letters to the Editor section of a retro issue and read some of these poems that are in here, rattle them one after another. This first one's called I Want Love. I'm laying here in bed and I'm looking over at him. He's sound asleep, perfectly happy. You know, I can't remember the last time he's held me. He has no idea what I'm thinking. He's perfectly content this way. I decided to spend the rest of my life with him. He's my best friend, but I don't know if he loves me. Damn it. I want love. I'll whip on to the next piece. Everybody's going, is that about her? Is that about your husband? No, it's not. Be quiet, relax, it's okay. It's not. This is a tiny prose piece that is the next piece in this poem, and it's called Dandelions for a Passing Stranger. I loved my silly red tricycle, the type that every suburban 3-year-old probably had. I would play in my driveway, riding past the evergreens, past the white mailbox, but then I'd usually turn around before I rode past the gravel and onto the neighbor's driveway and ride back to the security of my own garage. I would sometimes play on the neighbor's driveway since it was on a hill. I could scale up to the top of their maroon-colored garage, navigate my trusted bicycle around by its rusted handlebars, hop on the seat, and then just zoom downhill. But those times were only when I thought that there was no one home at their house, and for when I was feeling particularly adventurous. Once I was riding up and down on my own driveway and I saw another little girl walking in the neighbor's yard. I watched her approach my driveway, walking on the edge of our lawn. I was fascinated by this girl. This was a new face to look at. This girl had long blonde hair, different from my own. She came from the lawn behind my house and was walking along the side of my driveway, away from my home. I just watched her walk. When she passed me, I looked over at the neighbor's yard. Our lawn was full of green grass. Theirs was full of dandelions. I rode over to the side of my driveway, got off my tricycle, hopped over to the ledge, and ran over to the neighbor's lawn. I picked a dandelion. I quickly ran back to my tricycle. It was patiently waiting there just where I left it. I pedaled fiercely to the end of my driveway and caught up with that little girl. Still sitting on my tricycle, I looked up at her and she stopped walking right in front of me. I held up a dandelion to her. That woman became my oldest friend. She was the matron of honor in my wedding. She came over to my house and we watched the Bears win the Super Bowl. And we were in Chicago. And it was really funny because today in Austin, Texas, we found out that the Bears are 85 Super Bowl is being replayed on NBC television, on network TV. I think I'm seeing it. And I'm like, you have to mute it. I guess I know how it turns out, but still, it's the Bears Super Bowl, which of course I was, hanging out with Sherry to watch. I have one more prose piece before I go to some poetry for you in this section, from one piece to the next. And if people want to know why the organization is called Scars Publications that does these magazines, like cc&d magazines, it's based on this prose poem called Scars. Like when the grossman's German shepherd bit the inside of my knee. I was babysitting 2 girls and a dog named Roscoe. I remember being pushed to the floor by the dog. I was on my back, kicking as this dog was gnawing on my leg, and I remember thinking, I can't believe a dog named Roscoe is attacking me. And I was thinking that I had to be strong for these 2 little girls who were watching it all. I couldn't cry. Or when I step off Scott's motorcycle at 2 a.m. and burn my calf on the exhaust pipe. I was drunk when he was driving, and I was careless when I swung my leg over the back. It didn't even hurt when I did it, but the next day it blistered and peeled. It looked inhuman. I had to bandage it for weeks. It hurt like hell. Or like when I was little, roller skating in my driveway and I fell. My parents yelled at me, "Did you crack the sidewalk?" Or when I was kissing someone and I scraped my right knee against the wall. Or maybe it was the carpet. When someone asks me what that scar was from, I tell them I fell. Or when I was riding my bicycle and I fell when the front wheel skidded in the gravel. I had to walk home. Blood was dripping from my elbow to my wrist. I remember thinking that the blood looked thick, but that nothing hurt. I sat on the seat cover while my sister cleaned me all up. It was a small bathroom. I felt like the walls could have fallen in on me at any time. Years later, I can still see the dirt under my skin on my elbows. Can I still? Oh, right there. I can still see it. That's scary. Or when I was 5 years old and my dad called me an asshole because I made a mess in the living room. I didn't. Like when I scratched when I had the chicken pox. I think that might be going away on my chin after all those years. But this is from the Letters to the Editor, a letter in response to a poem that included The State of the Nation. This one's called The State of the Nation. Hope you guys enjoy it. My phone rang earlier today and I picked it up and I said, hello. And the man at the other end said, is this Janet Kuypers? And I said, yes it is. May I ask who is calling? And he said, yeah, hi, this is George Washington. I'm sitting here with Jefferson and we just wanted to ask you a few things. And I said, why me? And he said, excuse me. I believe I said I was the one that wanted to do the talking. God, there's a problem with Americans nowadays. They're all so damn rude. And I said, you didn't have to use language like that. And he said, oh, I'm sorry. It's just that I've been dead for so long. I lose all control of my manners. Well, anyway, we just wanted to tell you some stuff. Now, I know we really didn't have much of an idea of what we were doing when we were starting this country here, and we didn't have much of experience in creating bodies of power, so I could understand how our Constitution could be misconstrued. And then he put in a dramatic pause and said, but when we said people had a right to bear arms, we meant to protect yourselves from a government gone wrong, and not so that you can kill an innocent person for $20 cash. And when we said freedom of religion, we included the separation of church and state because freedom of religion could also mean freedom from religion. And when we said freedom of speech, we had no idea you'd be burning the flag, or painting pictures of Christ doused in urine, or photographing people with whips up their respective anatomies. But hell, I guess we've got to grin and bear it, because if we ban that, the next thing they'll ban is books, and we can't have that. And I said, but there are schools that have books banned, George. And he said, oh. I'm seeing comments put up on this, and I just saw hi from York, and I cannot read the other messages on because I'm not going to go reading, but I'm hoping you guys are enjoying yourselves. I have one or two more for you before I take a break and then start reading more from a different section of this book for you guys at the home edition of the June 2020 meeting for Poetic License, which is on the first Sunday of every month at Austin's Recycled Reads, usually from 3:30 to 5:30, so this is why I'm sitting in a library reading to you here. These are the last two poems I'm going to share with you right now from the collection book Among the Debris from cc&d magazine in 2019. This first one is called People's Rights Misunderstood. I had a dream the other night. I was walking down the street in the city, and a man came up to me, a skinny man. He lost his hair, and he walked right up to me, and he told me that no one cares anymore. And he took my hand, and he asked me to care about him. I'm not supposed to be like this, he said. I'm not homeless, you know. I have AIDS. And I wanted to tell him that somebody did care, that he didn't have to die alone. But you know how sometimes you can't do things in your dream no matter how hard you try? Well, my mouth was open. It was wide open. But no words were coming out. You know, I'm afraid to go to sleep tonight. I'm afraid that a pregnant woman is going to come up to me and ask me for a hanger. And I'll tell her there has to be another way, and she'll say that this is the way she chooses. I'm afraid that woman will come up to me, and she will tell me that she doesn't want to live because she's just been raped, and her world doesn't make sense anymore. And I'll tell her that she can make it, that 1 in 3 women are raped in their lifetimes, and they all make it. And besides, the world doesn't make sense to anyone. And she says that doesn't make her feel any better. And I'm afraid I won't be able to walk down that city down that city street again in my dreams without it looking like a Quentin Tarantino movie where everyone's pointing guns at each other. Yes, Mr. NRA, you are so right. I feel so much safer knowing that everyone out there has a gun, and that there are more gun dealers than gas stations, and that everyone is so willing to do the killing. It's interesting to read that when I have a Marine husband. And he's like, well, maybe I should sell my AR-15 because I'm really not using it that much, and somebody else wants to get it, and everybody worries when elections come that there's going to be a hype, oh, will we not be able to get our guns? I'm not using this one anymore, and we've got a gun safe, and I know so much about guns now, so it's really kind of funny to be reading ones like that after all I've gone through in my life. This last one I'm going to share with you is called The Carpet Factory, the Shoes. I heard a story today about a little boy, one of many who was enslaved by his country in child labor. In this case, he was working for a carpet factory. He managed to escape. He told a story to the world. He was a hero at 10. But the people from the factory held a grudge. And today I heard that the little boy was shot and killed on the street. He was 12. And he complains to me when I buy shoes that are made in China. And now I think, did somebody have to die for these? Will somebody have to die for these? Those are a bunch of poems that were in a section that people talked and commented on poems. I'm not going to read all of the commentary that's on the poems for you guys, but I think I'm going to take a slight break, maybe get a drink of water. I hope you guys have enjoyed listening to the live feeds. I've got them that will come up in YouTube videos within the next month for the June 7th, 2020 edition, home edition of the Poetic License Open Mic. I hope a lot of people are going to that Facebook event page and posting things, because these live feeds will go up to that page when I'm done with all my reading, and I hope everyone is staying safe as well as staying creatively inclined. Know you are all loved, and thank you all so very much.